right away. James, are you going to sit in that chair? That's a great solution. I'm so excited. Listen up. Listen up. I'm so excited because today in writing, we are starting a new kind of writing. Okay? So turn and track this way. I'm so excited. I even need to shut the doors so that everyone can hear. Starting a new kind of writing. You know, the last couple times in writing, we've been working on our animal books, and I actually put all your animal books, every friend that finished their animal books, I put them in the blue bin in our library so that if you have library time during your station, you can actually read your teammates' books and look at those beautiful pictures that they did. So they're in there, and of course, you're going to treat them respectfully, just like we treat all our books. We also, at the beginning of the year, we wrote some stories about our own lives. We wrote some stories about our own lives. Say it correctly, Warren, that's a warning. We wrote some stories about our own lives. Just like we might have had some stories, the mice had some stories about their lives. But today we're not going to be writing an animal book, and we're not going to be writing a story. We're going to be doing a different kind of writing. Let's have a drum roll. We're going to be writing how-to books. A how-to book. I don't think we've read any how-to books this year. And so we're going to take a second and look at some examples of how-to books to see what makes them different from our animal books and what makes them different from our stories, from our small moment stories that we've written. So we're going to read this story carefully about how to make a drum. How to make a drum. I know William's going to be really interested in this because he loves the drum. So this is a story about how to make a drum. We're going to just look through it really carefully. How to make a drum. So did you know you can make a drum? It's fun and easy to do. Just follow the steps in this book. It says what you will need, and it tells you all the different things that you'll need. It says you should have an adult nearby to help you. First, take the top off of an empty oatmeal box. And then it gives you some more directions. Then it says next, cover the outside of the drum with construction paper. That's cool. Then, this is the next step. Then use markers, crayons, or paint to make your drum look the way you want it. Hey, that's cool. Have an adult use the scissors to cut off the small ends of the balloons, Stretch one balloon over each end of the tube. I'm picturing them doing it, and I can see them doing this step by step. Ask the adults to use a rubber band to hold each balloon in place. Now your drum is ready to be played. That's one simple way of how to make a drum. Let's look. Here's another story, another how-to book that uses just mostly pictures and a couple words. And so we're going to look through the pictures, and you're going to help me come up with the steps for this how-to book. This is applesauce. What do you think this book is going to teach us how to do? A how-to book is going to teach us something. What do you think this book is going to teach us what to do? Dennis? What do you think it's going to teach us? What kind of stuff is it going to teach us how to make? It's called applesauce. What kind of food? Yes, could you use a complete sentence and tell me, what is this book trying to teach us how to do? This book is trying to... teach us how to oatmeal, or it's called applesauce. What is it trying to teach us how to make? Applesauce. So let's look at the pictures and see if we can figure this out. It says some are red. What do you think the first thing you need to do when you make applesauce using these pictures? What would be the first thing that you need to do? Gavin?
You get apples.
First, you might need to get apples, yes. You can get red ones or green ones or yellow ones. What do you think the next step that you need to do? What do you think the next step that you need to do is? Tamar? Loud and proud, please. apples. That's right. You need to cut the apples. What is the next step? What's the next step that you're going to do, William?
Put the apple in the pot.
Put the apples in the pot. Okay, and what are you going to do after they're in the pot? Cook it. Yeah, you're going to put the apples in the pot and cook them. What's the next step? What's the next step that we're going to do? Demarius? You might stir it up. Do you know another word for stirring it up in that kind of way? What is the word they want to use? What's the word they're going to use? Mash. They're going to mash them or smash them, right? Oh. Naila, what's the last step that they tell you to do?
Put some cinnamon with the apple.
Some cinnamon with the apples. Why would you want to put cinnamon with the apples, Dearius?
So it can have a taste.
So it can have a good taste, exactly. And then you have, what do you have?
Applesauce.
So I'm thinking about those steps because that was a how-to book. And I'm thinking about those steps, and I think that both of those books, they put the steps in order. Would it make sense to have applesauce at the very beginning? No, because they had not made the applesauce yet. So they thought about the steps, and they said them in order. And then they also went in order. They said first, next, and last. So let's brainstorm some things that first graders know how to do. Let's brainstorm some things that first graders know how to write about, that you can write about in steps. You're going to be teaching somebody how to do something. You're going to be teaching somebody how to do something. So you need to think, what do I know how to do that I can tell someone how to do in steps? Silent signal. Do you know how to ride a bike? Who knows how? Not everyone does, but some people silent signals. So a first grader might know how to ride a bike. So that's one thing you can think about writing about. How to, and we're going to do this. We're going to think of some different ideas that you could write about. Ride a bike. What is something else a first grader might know that you might know how to teach something how to do? I know how to teach somebody how to play the piano, but I don't think you might not know how to do that. Miss Kelly knows how to teach somebody how to sing, but that might not be something that you know how to do. Miss Cameron knows how to teach somebody how to do art, and you might be able to do some of that too. What else? What is something else that you know how to do? Sanaya?
I know how to cook eggs.
Wow, that is cool. So you know how to cook eggs. What's something else a first grader? I'm going to have you turn and talk and see if you can come up with 3 things that you might be able to write about. 3 things. Turn and talk with your partner.
I know how to
That's a nice one. That's easy.
What do you know how to do? I need to see your eyes. What do you know? Perfect. I know how to bake a cake. What do you know how to do?
I know how to eat
Hands down. I'm calling you. Naila, what's something that you know how to do that you could write about? Teaching someone how to do something that you could say in steps. How to do something.
I can teach someone how to do. I know I can teach someone how to make desserts, and I can teach someone how to learn.
Okay, how to learn, how to be a learner, or how to be a listener. That's a great one. I'm going to write that there. How to learn. Krishaya?
I can teach somebody how to a good day at school.
Have a great day at school. That's really important. Think about if you were writing this book for a kindergartner, you might need to teach them how to have a good day at school. A long phrase, how to have a good day at school. Something else that you can teach someone how to do. William?
Piano and play a piano.
Oh, how to play the drums. How to play the drums. Dominic? Ooh, that's a great one. How to make a paper airplane.
I can make that.
Dennis? How to cook. Yeah, we've got cook eggs, but you could also write about how to cook something else. Madison? Great, we've got cook up there. So if it's something about cook, I don't want to hear any more cooking ones because we've already got enough about cooking. But that's great that you can all write about how to cook something if you know how to do it carefully. James? What was your cooking one, James? I bet it was a good one. Ooh, how to cook crab legs. You know what? You could also write about how to eat crab legs because Miss Norman is not very good at eating crab legs. She's kind of tricky. So you could. That's right. You got to break things. I didn't even know. I did not even know. So Miss Norman is not going to write with you today because we looked at some examples of how to, and we saw that when you write a how-to book, you write it in steps. You go in order. You have some special paper at your table today. Look here, please. You don't need to get out your folders until the very end when it's time to put your things away. So just take one of these papers, and it has 3 little boxes. So if you can think about how to make your how-to in 3 steps. First, I might do this. Then, I would do this. And last, you need to do this. Draw a quick picture of each step, right? When they were doing eating the applesauce, this doesn't show them eating the applesauce, cutting the apples, and mashing them up. They had a page for cutting the apples or a picture for cutting the apples. They had a picture for mashing the apples, and they had a picture for cooking the apples. So draw your picture in your steps. Make sure you go in order. If you have more than 3 steps, you can get another piece of paper, that's okay. But I bet most of you will be able to think of 3 steps to write your how-to. You might want to use one of these ideas. You might write about something else, like how to shoot a basketball, or how to play baseball, or you might write about something else that's not even on here. Whatever it is that you need to think of needs to be able to teach someone how to do something. Just like here, we know how to make applesauce now. We could get some apples and follow the directions. Or we could get the things that we need to make a drum and make our very own drum because it was very clear and they told us the steps. So go ahead and think for a second, close your eyes and think about what you're going to write about today. What are you going to teach us about? When you know what your how-to is going to be, Naila, you're going to put 2 thumbs up underneath. When you already know what you're going to write about. When you already know what you're going to write about, use the pencil with your name on it. You don't need to take your folder out yet. You can just take the new paper. Since we're starting a new unit, we don't have anything in our folders. So just take the paper. Remember that you need to stay in your level 1 whisper voice when you're working so that everyone can focus. Listen carefully for me to call your name or your row. You can go back and get started. I can tell that you're ready when you have 2 thumbs up and your eyes are closed because I can tell that you're concentrating on what you're going to write about. Kobe, David, Naila, Jermisha, Gavin, Krishaya, Demarius, Tiana, Jamari.